Welcome. Welcome to another edition, another Wednesday of Charles and Chat. Let's see. I have a not so good one for you. Not actually a good one. I think we're at pivotal points in the market, which I like to be. I like to be in pivotal points. Thank you for joining, Gucci Mane. I feel like I'm saying a bad word. That's not a bad word, right? So my English is limited, so hopefully not. Just gonna give it a few minutes for people to join. As usual, as everyday business. Be paying attention to both chats on YouTube if anybody joins, and then here on Discord. Especially shoot me some questions, guys. Some questions. Some setups. If you see anything, I'm craving for setups. You know, the whenever we started doing charts and chat back in the day, I will have amazing plays for the next day, because people will like show me something and I'll be like, oh, that's good, you know, and be like, oh, I might look to trade that tomorrow. Let's go. Um, Still good. It's still good. I think we'll find something. We'll find something. Just got some. We gotta find something that looks like it'll break out of range, right? Something that it looks like it's gonna have a massive move, you know, because that's how you get those big game percentages, you know. And even then, you know, if we get like some kind of a small percentage gain or something like that, so it's still welcome, because um because we will you know, take advantage of that. We can make whatever we can take is, you know, we'll take it from the market. um I have a lot of there's some inside candles that we have, and I'm gonna be looking through some of those, like PayPal, you know, inside candle, but looking to break down, you know, it's still within range. This is a problem, you know, like if there's a setup but it's still in the middle of a range like this, it's tough, right? Because you may just don't do a little poke and then bounce back, which would be pretty hard, you know. And by the way, I have a long bias in this market. I'm actually bullish. Can you believe it? Every time I'm trying to short the market, and now I changed my opinion. But it's my only bias, and I have my own reasons. I could be totally wrong. We still have PPI tomorrow. And obviously, today's action was not bullish. But, well, hey, I mean, I see a level. I want to buy it. I'll take my chances, you know? I'll get to that, Gucci. I get to that, Gucci. I'm not saying a bad word, right? Because I don't want to get demonetized with my 16 subscribers on YouTube. um, but no, it's all jokes aside. Let's dive into it. You know, we gave him enough time. They're lost. They're lost. You know. You know, there used to be some people were like, "Oh my God, we used to get some crazy plays, plays." So I'm actually gonna start. I'm gonna start in another market instead of. We usually start on ES. I'm gonna start with the one that I think is bullish. Which, um, I mean, I don't know. I think I may be wrong, you know, but it's a good spot. You know, I kind of just go away and look at a level and think back like, oh man, I should have bought. It's just that the candle looks so intimidated, so I didn't, and this and that. Right? It's just hell that proper sizing, money that I'm willing to lose, and then up we go. So I think that this was only a pullback to actually go higher. And tech, you know, it doesn't look like it. I know. Look at this candle. It broke the highs, didn't go higher. Broke the lows, closed lower. Engulfed this whole candle. But guess what? We got the daily 20. We got the 618. So all in all, I think that the market has a good chance to head towards this level. I think this level is gonna make the news. You know, you know what this level represents? I don't know if it's too small for your screen, but you can read it right here. I wish I could zoom it in. Actually, I mean, I can open it right here. What does it say right here? 20% decline from all-time highs. And I use those levels, and I think those levels are magnets to the market. You know, stuff like that. It's not gonna get there on a screenshot, but we almost came up to it. You know, I thought that the market was extended at this point, so I was like, okay, this might get a pullback before we get there, and we got it. I thought there was a pullback, and I thought it was gonna go from here, but I was actually, whenever it bounced right here, I thought this daily candle was gonna drop into 618, and then I was gonna buy in for the run into the 20% right here decline from all-time highs. This is what, you know, a technicality, right? The bear market is defined if you're up above or under the 20% from all-time highs, which is the only market that is like that. Beside, I mean, Russell and the Qs are in a bear market territory, right? The SPY is not, you know, ES is not on that level, is way above that level, and so, you know, I think this is the next market to take it out. I'm not sure. Right? Could be totally wrong. Who knows? So it's around 13,400 or so on NQ. I'll show you guys what it is on the QQ. But yeah, I mean, I tend to get those levels. I wish this overnight action wouldn't have dipped into this right here, into the more than the daily 20. It did. I still take the level, you know. It's not a level that gets super respected by it. Sometimes you'll get those kind of bounces, like look at this one right here. We'll get rejections if you're on the other side, you know. Look at this one to the penny, you know. So it's not an exact thing, you know. Look at this bounce. Just plenty of those, right? This red squiggly line. It's my daily 20 EMA. So that's what I got. I mean, this is one of the things that makes me bullish, and I have some stocks that are kind of like that. And I think it's a pivotal point, because if we lose this, then God help us. Nah, not really. I mean, but that's, if we go under the 6.5 retracement or so, that's gonna be a big selling signal for the market. You know, being below this, being below that, it still wouldn't be a mega bearish retracement, because this is only a daily perspective on the fibs, because the weekly perspective goes all the way over here. Boop, right here. You know, so the weekly perspective fibs, any pullback into one of these levels is still viable, you know. Preferably this one right here that aligns with this peak right here. But I mean, I still gotta take my chances on this daily level right here. I still do, you know. And let's see, I'll bring the weekly so you guys can see. So, right, it makes sense, right? Base around the weekly 20, bounce, run. This candle marks the end of the move upward, and we can essentially have like 3-4 weeks of red to then boom, go. And it could happen, right? We have tech earnings starting from Tesla next week, you know. So being this the first weekly candle that is red, then the next week kind of red a little bit, and then the next possibly another weekly candle could be the bounce where we have more tech earnings out of the way, you know. So that could be we'll see. That's on NQ. I think that when I'll go into some mega caps, you know, to see if that's sustained the thesis. Some don't, some do. Who knows? We'll see. ES, and I'm sorry for all the lines. I was lazy today, guys. I don't feel like cleaning up my space. I'm gonna keep using this level since we're in a very. This is what happens whenever we're on the same range for many days. I end up having a lot of levels, you know, in between, and I keep them. You know, they're helpful for whatever I'm trading. And yeah, I think if you use the same ideology as the Qs, daily perspective to the Fips, which you will actually brought up now to this high. That's a new high. I mean, actually, I don't know. It's not. It doesn't change anything. Let's keep it around here. So this pullback into this EMAs actually made a lot of sense. This made a lot of sense, right? 32 retracement, but usually with the which we did actually. I don't remember what am I gonna say, but this is a thing about odds. If you bounce at the upper area of the full move, meaning like 32 retracement, about the 50%, all that, the odds say that you're most likely gonna make a new high, which it did happen, and most likely you're gonna have continuation of that high. The higher you pull back, the more strength it's gonna have for the next move. So it's like a reset, right? You know, you have your little runner, boop, 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 has to take a break and then run again. But you know, I always rather the markets to pull back. You know, some kind of like a 50% retracement. That's very healthy. That's a discount for buyers. You know, and then go higher. But you can also do so in time. You know, this is what happens whenever the market does not want to pull back into the those 50 or the 618, and instead it takes a break going sideways. You know, on the upper end. So I constitute this range right here consolidation as bullish. Um, is the screen black? Oops, I don't know why it's black. It's I have no idea why it's black. Let me hold on. I forgot this on YouTube that its screen is black. Holy macaroni. Oh my god, I didn't know it was black. Let's see, how do I change this? It's display capture 2. I think I'm streaming it now, but it's not. Is there a way to do it? No. Sorry guys, let me fix this real quick. Thank you, Baines. I didn't realize that happened. Didn't realize that happened. I'm sorry, it didn't show. Appreciate the call out. Appreciate it. It's been fixed. Sorry about that. Right. Let's proceed. You know, I mean, I usually actually watch YouTube videos about trading with not even watching. I just listen, you know, because I know what they're saying. I can imagine the charts. I've been in the charts. You know, I've been watching the market like a hawk. Almost like every tick of the market. It's exhausting. But anyway, we have a sideways consolidation right here, and I count that as bullish. You know, if you don't retrace in price, you retrace in time. It makes all those EMAs catch up. All your oscillators, your stochastics, whatever you want to call it, everything catches up, and then up we go. Now, the weekly is not as at the mid right now. That is still forming. It's not looking like the weekly candle on the Qs, right? Which it marks kind of like marks the trend. This one is still forming, and this one does not mark an end of a trend, like like NQ, right? But if this one ends up breaking lower and all that, then it'll mark the end, and we're probably gonna have to use like a fib perspective on the weekly that goes like this to look for our next pullback levels to a possible higher low. If not, let's take the market to the ground. As of now, right now, like I said, on the daily perspective, it's still looking bullish, holding above the daily 20. I prefer a pullback into the daily 20. And the reason is that I consider anything above it extended. Can it still go up? Yes. You know, but you can only get so far out that you start pulling back into it or trading sideways to meet it, right? So it's still within the range. It's still within the range, and I still think we can get that NQ target. We'll see. We'll see. I will actually like to look at some mega caps for after this. Any questions about NQ and ES? No questions. All right. The Russell, actually, I got something about the Russell. The Russell. I may have missed my entry for the long. I think there was a good entry right here. So the Russell, as you see, we traded sideways into a daily 20, and now we're making a base above the daily 20 a little bit right here, a little bit of a break right here. And I don't like for the bulls that this is a lower high. This high did not meet this high. That's no bueno. But if a bullish side, this is a higher low right here compared to this low right here. So this work for the bulls is to make a higher low again, you know, and the best place to do it is roughly right here. We have a lot of bank earnings, and if you guys know, 20% or something of the Russell is regional banks, just know, so it's very heavily on financials. But it could go, you know, this will be, to me, the higher low of from this move higher should, if it's gonna go higher, should be placed around this area as well, you know. So there we had the pullback candle. Then look at this overnight right here on Russell, the 618 to the penny, man. That's some good money right there to go long on futures, you know. So I mean, not to a penny actually. Some ticks below, I guess, above. It looks like from the daily perspective, looks like to a penny. So that's a perspective I have. I think on the weekly, I just don't like this on the weekly. I mean, it's very, 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 very clear, right? That we make the leg down. This being the 50% is getting sold at the 50% retracement underneath the weekly 20 MH, which was support before. Down we go, right? By the way, what is 20% from all-time highs on this thing? I never marked the level on this one. This one is basically here. We just look at the percentage box right here. Go for 20. And it's right here. Right here. Which is 1960. Yeah, it's way, way below. Look at the level, right? 1968.80, right? So something right here, something like this. So it's still very on a deep, still within the bearish market, I guess. And it's actually down from the 27% right now. It's actually down 27% from all-time highs. If that's all-time highs, I'm not even sure. Yeah, it is. It is all-time highs right here. Doesn't have a lot of history back in. All right. So let's look at some large caps. You know, now that we know this could be the place for IWM to go higher, I'll look into it. So probably some longs into some small caps. I'll look for some daily setups and whatnot. But let's see if the NQ has, with the large caps, any type of bounce. So I'm gonna start off with Nvidia. All right. Very bearish candle, right? Doesn't look that healthy. Try to ignore the levels. Actually, let me zoom in so they don't look that bad, right? So this placed a lower high, and in fact, if you look at it, it's a very bearish pattern, and the matter that this high right here is about this high right here, and we have a little peak right here, and then we have this area right here. What does it look like, right? There's a shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline, boom, breakdown. So it is looking bearish in that regard. I think some people are even going by the look of this wedge. You know, it's just been going up, up, up. You know, and it just doesn't break down, right? And if you were to draw some kind of a trend line or something like this, it looks like it already broke it, right? I mean, look at this, right? Look at this right here, right? Looks like it already broke it. Today's candle actually is a break and held it back down. So that's I guess that's what people have in mind. I think one of the things that I'm focusing is that this thing was extended from the daily 20, and guess what? It's right here. If there was a place for Nvidia to bounce, it's right here. So that's why I call this today a very pivotal place, because below this, you're looking to have that inverse head and shoulders breakdown on the market, right? You're looking to have that breakdown on the market, right? I mean, on Nvidia at least, not the market. But above the daily 20, very good bounce, you know, for anything that was overextended to the daily 20. Still extended on the weekly time frame from the weekly 20, but that's the perspective right here. And I'll show you, you know, it's just a little bit dangerous to go for head and shoulders sometimes, because there'll be times where the market presents. I mean, Nvidia actually had a couple of like kind of head and shoulders type of patterns that it just wouldn't play out. You know, it would still be a pullback and to go higher. So, but it looks a lot better for the bear size. If anybody's bearish into Nvidia, that's what it looks like. It looks like it's gonna drop. So it's a pivotal, I guess. Doesn't support bear or bull until after the fact, right? Which sucks, you know, because we try to predict things. But it is a good level to risk on longs because of the daily 20 with a small stop loss right here, and it's a good level to risk on bear trades, you know, on the downside once this level breaks with a stop right here, you know. So this is a cool thing about pivotal levels, that whatever side you take on, the trade is very straightforward. Either you're above or you're underneath. You're on the other side that you're not supposed to be, then you cut the trade and take your small loss, you know, relatively a small loss, depends on your sizing, right? Let's go down to Google now. All right, Google, on the daily perspective, we had a bounce off the daily 20 right here. It made us run. It looked like it was gonna be over, and now it's pulling back, and now it's around it's still extended from the daily 20. If this thing goes back to the daily 20 later sessions, you know, that it shows that it's at the 618, I think I'm gonna take another shot at the long right here, you know. As of now, it's still holding this 50% retracement. So even if it loses this 50, it can still head towards the 618 and possible bounce. So it's not as entirely bearish, but I can see this some downward pressure on the market if its level is gone, where it goes down to the 20. But I'll be hesitant to keep shorting past the daily 20 plus a combination of the 618. I'll have to be patient to keep betting to the downside. You know, have to see this break and whatnot, right? It's just part of trading. That's Google. Microsoft, it looks like it's just consolidating into the daily 20, flattish. This is probably a retracement as well. 50% bounce. It's holding the 50% like a champ. So I think, like I said, this is only a pullback. This supports. I think this supports. This is close enough to me. In fact, even if it drops, it might be a long entry. But this could be a bounce, you know, either from here or from here, you know, drop a little and then from here. So that's what I look for, right? Boom, 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 to go higher. So it's not bearish until proven otherwise, as other stocks. Moving on. Let me think. What else is next? Apple. This one is definitely not overextended. Now the issue with this one is that It was not extended right here. This should have, which it did push it higher for a little bit, but it should have continued higher and higher. Did not. It's still defending this daily 20. It's still good, and this is probably a retracement as well. Yes, sir. Bottom side of the 618. So this one actually will be closer for a make or break kind of aspect, you know, instead of the other ones that are like maybe it drops a little more and then maybe it bounces or not. I think this is a good example of what should we look for, and this could be a sign, you know. To me, it's a good level to buy right here, as bearish as it looks for move upward. Moving below, it's a straight cut, and it's a bearish move, right? So pivotal point, and I think the I think it's pretty straightforward, you know. It's so I'm gonna keep an eye on this. Gonna put an alert right here to see if it breaks. You know, if it breaks below like that, then I'll have to change my bias to bearish. But that's a good. That's a sign right there that probably good to risk it on some longs. You know, I'll probably look for some swings on Apple. Doesn't look bad. You know, and we have, like I said, we have earnings, and I just want to look. I don't want to look back to these charts. I don't want to look back to these levels and think, oh man, usually stuff runs into earnings. Like, we gotta remember that the market most of the time is positive forward looking. So most of the time is, how do you say this word? I forgot the right word. Most of the time is optimistic about the future, you know. So that's why we see things like pre-run up into earnings, stuff like that. This may be a good trade idea. I leave you guys with this. This is a swing trade idea that I may take it. Probably should it long it today at the close. We'll see. Maybe tomorrow we'll open flat, and I'll be glad I didn't. But this, you risk money to the upside right here, and you cut if you're underneath. I think it's a good level to do it on Apple. You know, compared to the rest, Apple looks good, right? And this run, if it ends up being a 10% extension or 50%, I mean, we'll be looking to meet this type of highs right here, which, I mean, Apple at this highs is not even far from all-time highs again, you know. Look, I mean, I guess it's not that close either, but could be something. So, keeping an eye on this. Keeping an eye on this. Am I missing a large cap, some mega cap? I certainly am. I cannot think of which one it is. I think it's Tesla, right? Yeah. Tesla and Netflix. Yeah. Tesla. Oof. That looks bearish. I think that I think Brick had some puts, and those I actually agree. You know, I got some longs in Tesla here to meet the daily 20. It kind of did it, almost did. You know, it's not an exact level as usual, something like this. You know, but we actually opened higher, but the downtrend was still going on. If you place a field retracement to the downside, what just did from this highs to this lows, you'll see that it looks like Tesla just came off of the 50% retracement rejection, right? How does it look on the hourly? Yeah, very close to it, right? Very close to it. Drop, 50% retracement, next drop. And I think it's done from the bullish perspective. Not done, I mean, but the bulls will always want to be above this level, right? It's below it. So Tesla does not support the long side right now. And I think when you look at XLY, the consumer discretionary sector, you'll see that that sector is sick. Consumer discretionary is the one that looks the most bearish right now, you know, and Tesla being a big component of it, you know. Next up is Netflix. Let's go to a daily. So Netflix, it's also at a pivotal point. It closed right at the level, a little bit below, and held the daily 20. So pivotal point lower than this, and then possibly more downside for Netflix to come. But holding the daily 20 and bounce, that'll be very bullish, for Netflix to run into I don't know if I lower high, but some kind of some kind of high, will place a trend line for the future right here. Oops, that's not very well charted right here. Yeah, it doesn't have to be exact. We're actually gonna make it thicker, thicker, ticker, so we can see it better on the future, right? If we do end up making a bounce, and you end up getting a swing trade into Netflix going higher, then those areas, this trend line or something, be something to take profits on, And obviously we have earnings coming up soon, so we'll see, right? We'll see if we get a pre-earnings run up. If it's gonna do it, I will say that it should be from here, right? Should be from this area. What else? You guys can tell me if we have missed another mega cap, another large cap. What do you guys think? Well, actually, what you think of a suggestion to analyze, I'm gonna go with just going a quick lightning round on sectors. Starting from what was green today. It looks like it closed below the open, but it's still higher. This thing is placing. You see this stuff right here, right? Placing a higher bounce of the 618, 65. Now fighting to climb its way back up. Now it's making a higher low from these lows into a possible. It's gonna try to make a higher high, but obviously it has to break this high right here. So industrials will start looking bullish at breaking this high, because we already seen the rejection of the 6.5, 6.1 on the bear side, right? From going down, up, and down again, So we'll keep monitoring this. Place an alert on this in case it goes higher. Right here, right? Let's go materials, another green sector today below the open. So I mean, it was barely green. I don't think at all. 0.07% is nothing. So yeah, we're still making the that usual cup handle run up. So I may do like a handle on a handle retracement. It just means it's a little run up retracement, and then possibly go higher. So you look at this. I think this is bullish, So I think I'm feeding myself with bullish things right here, but it's not a place I would think materials could bounce, but we'll see. Very lightweighted sectors. The energy sector is very interesting because oil is just pushing higher and higher and higher, as in this hourly chart. After a gap up, it just doesn't pull back. I think it's a very steep uptrend. I think that there could be a possible short into this name. So I will keep an eye on energy stocks. They're looking very, very bullish at the moment, making a higher highs, making one time in framing some higher lows. Everest is still looking good right there. But I noticed something. Oil futures, they relate a lot to oil stocks, to XLE, but they are actually going higher than what energy stocks are going, So they usually react together, and right now it's like oil is moving ahead without them, right? So keep an eye on that. Next up is healthcare. Ended up green below the open as well, so not that bullish. It's very steep, I wish these things had some kind of sideways consolidation like the market is doing, so it could go higher. But I'm keeping an eye on this, because being this steep and then losing it, that's no bueno, right? XLU, it was red, but flattish, still holding around this highs, extended from the EMAs. Financials, I think this one is very interesting, right? A lot of focus on financials lately. And if you notice, you can set that this was the range highs and this were the range lows, a little bit of a look below and fail, and a little bit of look above and fail, right? So this still within it made its first daily 20 MA hole above right here. So it needs to make a higher high if it's gonna go higher. We'll see on bank earnings. JP Morgan starting on Friday, I believe. This lows right here at the 50% retracement, so it is a place for a bounce. It did make a higher high. We still gotta it's a wait and see on this sector, but it is making higher lows, higher highs. We'll see if it keeps doing that, right? And that's, I think, is gonna be defined by the bank earnings coming up soon. What else? It's real estate sector. You know, it made a nice hole above daily 20 like this. Had a nice breakout, but no continuation higher, so that's a little bit concerning. This setup like this should have been like right here, you know, and very green, maybe because of CPI and whatnot, right? XLP extended, holding up around the highs. This is Staples, Walmart, Costco, ADM, and whatnot. This extended. I think I favor a sideways trade right here or a pullback on this name. Communications, very engulfing candles. So this is notable. Communication engulfed this whole, took out the highs and took out the lows and closed very low to it. So this is an outside candle. Continuation will be seek if you're trading underneath or above this one, right? So I think we should place alerts above or underneath XLC to gather some sense of direction in this market, you know. XLK, heavy sector, same as a QQQ. I favor a bounce right here. Like I said, that's my bias. Below that, it's bearish, and I'll have to flip like a flip flopper, right? I'll have to flip if that happens. And consumer discretionary at the end. This one is the one that looks super bearish. And look at this weekly perspective, right? When we made this high and then make this higher low, it should have make a higher high, you know, to maintain some uptrend. But instead, it's making a lower high exactly at the 6.5, 6.1 retracement. So when you flip this, you know, that's a leg down like this. When you flip this for the bulls to make a higher low, they have all these places to make that right, which it's already bouncing at the 50%, but not very convincing, because the weekly doesn't look that bad. Like, oh, okay, it's still forming, it's a little shooting star, it's still holding those lows. But when you flip to the daily, those things get ugly right here, man. It's kind of ugly right here. Little candle that gets engulfed, you know, taking out the highs and mega closing out the lows right here. That whenever you take a fib, no matter how you slice it, whenever you take a fib retracement on the daily time frame, that like it will be like an hourly retracement that it goes from year to year to year. It does. I mean, look at how far it closed below. So that's not bullish. So discretionary doesn't look that good. You know, there's just getting sell across the board, and that's your boy Tesla. That's your boy Tesla. That's your boy Target. Look at Target's candle. what's a better bearish looking candle like Target today, right? It's just discretionary. Doesn't look that great. You know, there's some bullish things on discretionary like AutoZone, O'Reilly. It's making, actually, look at the AutoZone. Look at O'Reilly making a new year-to-date highs. Is that a new all-time highs? I think it is. Yes, it is a new all-time highs. We have a new all-time highs on O'Reilly. You know, so we have those. It kind of screams as recession, actually. Recessionary. That's a recessionary trade. You know, AZO and O'Reilly going higher. You know, it's I don't trade fundamentals, but if you want to look at that perspective, I guess, you know, you don't buy new cars, you buy used cars and you repair them, you know, or repair the car that you have, whatever, keep it rolling. So it's if you want to do it that way. McDonald's making new all-time highs is also a recessionary trade, you know. So in fact, like what I see is a lot of signs of recessionary periods, you know. Um, we'll see. I mean, the market has to like the market. You know, we're not officially, I guess, it's not being called out a recession. We're on risk of this recession, and the market is pricing in one already. You know, with stuff like going up with stuff like this, like AutoZone, O'Reilly, McDonald's. I don't know what the rest are. GPC is Genuine Parts, another auto parts store being green. I guess the market love auto parts today. Nike green, but nah, I'm very scared. That doesn't look that good, but it was green. Yum, it's basically another restaurants. Yum Brands, it's more restaurants. I think some restaurants are right there. What is the Tapestry? Tapestry? What is that? I don't know what the is that a website like Ancestry.com or something? uh, I don't know. Just making jokes. NVR. I don't know what NVR is. Well, yeah, but regardless of that, consumer discretionary is still very bearish. I mean, look at the heavyweights, which are Chipotle is down 1%. What's it called? Tesla, Target. Uh, oh, Domino's Pizza. That's good bounce right here. Ulta, Etsy. Ooh, Etsy looks bad. You know, this one. If we end up going lower, I think I like to short this name possibly. Etsy doesn't look bad. Does not look bad. Um, so yeah, that's what I got for all the sectors right here. Focus on to me is financials and discretionary as of now. I try to long tech. You know, I try to believe that this is just a pullback, but I think I mean it's you have to take your chances. You know, you see the level, you take it. You know, I see my level, I take it, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll cut my losers. Attempt to cut my losers quick rather than late, and go from there, guys. Maybe Andy's charts align with mine. Who knows? We'll see. Appreciate you all. That's all I got. Any questions before I sign out, or any quick chart that you want me to look at? If not, we'll be done. Let's see. Scapegoat has got something for me. Give me something. By the way, if we end up bouncing right there on small caps, I look for some small cap stocks that could run above $10, please. I don't want to do AMC or any of that stuff. Me not like it. Uh, all right. Nike Scott is saying UNH. UNH. Actually, I went short on the VIP rooms. The 500 puts as a lotto. I think if you look at, and this is not a chart base. This is not a chart base. Maybe it plays out. I think it's overextended. You know, it could have a pullback. But not only that. So I think that's what I'm seeing, right? Could have a pullback, and I think that it's just overextended. It hasn't had a pullback, right? I mean, it will even hard to anchor the fib retracements. It could be from here, it could be from here, it could be from here, it could be from here. So even if you put it like this, the pullback gives you some nice downside, right? So we took some lottos, like I said, just by the CPI report, supposedly, or not supposedly. I mean, that's what it shows. That the thing that dropped the most was healthcare by a lot. So it's at this. It actually dropped in inflation by a lot. So the prices have gone lower. That will mean that there's less profits for the overall healthcare sector. And I know UNH is insurance, but it's still tied in into the XLV, you know, which is healthcare. So, you know, so we'll see stuff that may suffer some downside on the healthcare sector based on that. You know, I'm not a macro trader, but that's all we got. You know, puts right now we're up like 40% on the puts right now. But I think it's extended, like I said. I think it's dangerous to keep long in this, in my belief. If there's a short setup, it'll be, this is a 2 up, 2 down strat reversal. So breaking the low right here and do it early on the session, that's very important. Instead of like starting from here, if you start from here, I think it's a straight short. But looking at the bullish move, it feels like whatever you get for downside is still gonna be to make a higher high. Where do you anchor this? I have no idea. It's a little bit tricky. The weekly perspective tells you to anchor this thing all the way over here. So you go back down to the daily. It's I mean, UNH will have to drop substantially, right, to meet the 32 or the 50, or I mean, or it could happen where you just trade sideways, in the upper end, where the EMAs catch up later. We have earnings coming up, so careful on this thing, right? When is earnings? 4/14. Is that on Friday? Oh. Okay, that's why the puts were expensive. The 500 puts were expensive. Central Time. So it's before the market opens. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you asking me for a play for earnings? Yeah, no, and I don't have it for you. Earnings are not a technical phenomenon, but yeah, it looks like it ran into earnings and now it's having a little bit of stoppage right here. It's probably not gonna move that much into earnings, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I may just hold those lotos. Who knows? Who knows what happens? I may just get rid of them. But that's technical perspective. You have 2 up, possible 2 down. You have to break this low early on the session. If not, start at the lows. That'll be a straight short signal. Hope that helps. I hope that helps. Any other one? Should have went short WBA today. Oh man, what a beautiful drop. UNH didn't do this. It dropped at the beginning on a 5-minute candle, but it didn't do this. WBA would have been a way better short today. Yeah. Yeah, looking at this WBA options, if you went with the, what do you like, the 36 puts today, they close at 44 cents. You know what they open at? 15 cents. With a max of 46, yeah. So around the close. So that's a 200% gainer right there. I just went with UNH instead, but this play was to be a WBA, which I saw somebody bought some right here. 22 contracts only, but yeah. So some healthcare sectors to the downside, guys. I think that's a good trade idea. Look it up. Do a little bit of homework, right? JP Morgan for last one. I think it looks exactly the same as XLF as we discussed. Not exactly, actually. I mean, this is set in a lower high after a higher low. It's a pivotal area, it would have been better if it made a higher high, right? You're asking me about another stock that has earnings on Friday. You have a tendency to pick the stocks that have earnings right away, right? So you're seeking an earnings play, I believe. And I mean, I gotta say that if you're a bull, you don't want to see it below 126.60. If you're a bear, you would like it to see below this one right here, which is around 126. You'll like it to see about 126. What did we say for the bull? Yeah, below, what is this? 127.60. Yeah. So you don't want to see 127.60 for bulls. You don't want to.
yeah, you don't want to see for bears. You're bearish below 126 because that will place you a lower high into a lower low from this low. So, you know, according to market structure, it's just I think it's a very tight consolidation range, which you're gonna have an answer in your earnings call, right? Because I mean, you can see that this thing try to bounce and it's trying to place a higher low up the 618. Yeah, I already did it, but on the way weekly time frame, you know, where it initiated this drop, we we're looking like it rejected 32, you know, so it didn't even go that high to reject. And weekly MAs are beating up right here, so yeah, I think that's a very bearish perspective. But all that gets negated if if this low holds and you start breaking this high, then this thing has changed patterns, or instead of getting lower, it's about to get higher. You know, it's gonna start trading higher. But you're looking at an earnings play right there. I hope that helps. And with that, I'm gonna sign out, guys, and I'm gonna thank you for your time. I appreciate you guys being here. I'm happy to do these things and share my perspective. If you guys are interested on the VIP room, let me know. Any questions that you have, I can answer them right there. Any setups, day trades that you want to look at, you know, like today we went short Baba and it worked very nicely. Thank you guys. Have a good rest of your night. Appreciate it. Sleep early. Be early on the markets. Thank you guys. Bye bye.